Gladiator taught us all a very important lesson. Killing for sport is what the good guys do. Gladiator also rekindled everyone's obsession with Rome. Don't get me wrong, I was playing Rise of Rome well before Gladiator came out. But you have to understand, Gladiator sparked an obsession with everyone. Rome was in TV shows. Rome was also in a ton of video games. People were talking about Roman Polanski, and of course, Rome was in movies. But does Gladiator live up to the hype? Let's see what the critics have to say. What does 104 nominations and 59 wins, including Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Effects, get you? That's right, it gets you a 67 on Metacritic. Oh critics, were you not entertained? Apparently not, according to Stephen Hunter from The Washington Post. Hunter starts off with a modified Shakespeare quote, then he immediately lets us know that he hates the film. But he doesn't just let us know. He gets into character and adds in some theatrics and pageantry into his review. Thumbs down. Drive that sword through its palpitating heart and pay no attention to its squeals for mercy. It's an honorable movie. So are they all honorable movies. But that's not enough. It's not great. It's a disappointment. Caesar hates disappointment. So kill it swiftly and be done. Wow, I completely disagree with this guy, but I am loving the review. He then gives a good synopsis of the plot. It's about a fallen and betrayed highborn lord seeking revenge, and it's about a gladiator revolt. But then he says this. Crow, hulking and dynamic, and Arnold Schwarzenegger without being a joke. When I read that, I wanted to grab Hunter by the collar and tell him I will strike down those most nearest to him and make him watch me bathe in their blood. Just so we're clear, that quote was from the movie. I took a few deep breaths and I remembered that this review was written back in 2000. By that point, Arnold had made some questionable movie decisions.
So I'm coming day and night.
Hunter kind of has a point, but in the very next sentence, he loses all credibility again. Question: how could he have an Australian accent 1800 years before Australia was discovered? Answer: there isn't one. Yeah, because having Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix struggle through their lines in ancient Latin, yeah, that would have made the film better. Why not just hire people that speak Latin? Or even better, why not just hire actors that speak Latin and were alive 2,000 years ago? I'm that Latin dude, and even I don't want them speaking Latin. Hunter then goes into really specific details about the story, and I really like the way he covers the opening battle scene. In snow and mud in some godforsaken Bavarian forest, the two armies clash, with weapons that cleave, chop, tear, and pierce. It becomes a great seething sea of beheadings, impalings, crushings, and stabbings, under a sleet of flaming arrows and whirling snowflakes. I hadn't seen Gladiator in a very long time, and it was definitely much more violent than I remember, which is a good thing. It's not over the top, but you definitely see people getting their arms and limbs chopped off. The whole battle started with some guy holding a decapitated head. But then again, I was watching the extended edition, which may have some extra scenes. Why did I watch the extended version instead of the theatrical release? Because of Ridley Scott's glowing recommendation.
This is not the director's cut.
This is one of those reviews where I don't really agree with the reviewer, but I still highly recommend it because the review itself is so well written. Stephen Hunter, your review makes it in the good pile. Gladiator is just a complete ripoff of Rocky, says our next reviewer, Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly. I clicked on a review from Lisa Schwartzbaum, but then I get Owen Gleiberman. Wait a minute, it says Gladiator 2000, but it also says it was last updated March 13th, 1992. Gladiator came out May 5th, 2000. What the hell is going on here? On the south side of Chicago, Tommy Riley, a disaffected high schooler ignored by his gambling, debt-ridden father, gets drawn into the world of underground boxing. What? The fight scenes are vicious, demagogic, and thoroughly exciting. In the climax, a vicious bare-knuckle contest between Tommy and Horn, Dennehy's performance takes on a glittering malice. Okay, I think I know what happened, and I've boiled it down to 2 theories. Theory 1. Lisa Schwartzbaum traveled back in time and wrote that review. She did this so I would read that review and look like an idiot. But why would she do this? Because my rival, the man most likely to kill me, paid her to. Theory 2. There's actually a movie that came out in 1992 named Gladiator, and the person that uploaded this review accidentally added the wrong tag to it. Yeah, that sounds likely. We all know which one of these theories actually holds water. Our next review comes from Indiana Bones.
Today I'm reviewing the Best Picture winner of the year 2000, the year I was born, Gladiator.
I really like that he's using a highly compressed JPEG here and throughout most of his review. Everyone on YouTube is obsessed. They're saying like you have to have 4K, you have to have like 10 LED panels, you need drone shots everywhere. This guy is refreshing, and he reminds me of old YouTube. But, he mentions he was born in the year 2000. So I'm gonna have to give him at least a -10 for a variety of reasons. I don't trust anyone born after the year 1990. And I definitely don't trust anyone born in the 2000s.
Shockingly, Ridley Scott was nominated but didn't win Best Director. It's always so ridiculous when that happens. It's like, if a movie wins Best Picture, then naturally its director should win Best Director as well.
Yeah, I agree, and I never understood that. It's like they were trying to personally snub Ridley Scott. It's like, what did he ever do to you? The joke here is that I actually like Prometheus.
And then, in one of the most emotional scenes in the film, his father tells him that he will not be emperor, and Commodus just starts breaking down. You feel all of the pain that he's going through at that moment.
I'm gonna stop you right there, because his video is really good, and I don't want to spoil it. He goes into a deep character analysis on all the characters, and doesn't put in any fluff. I applaud that. Despite being born in 2000, Indiana Bones review goes in the good pile. After watching the Indiana Bones video, YouTube recommended to me A Matter of Film. I almost didn't watch this review because it's not just a review, but it's also a video essay. I hate video essays. I did take a chance on it because the logo reminds me of my favorite game, Russian Roulette with 3 bullets. It turns out it's actually a really good video, but I don't want to spoil too much. I just want to give you a little taste.
Russell Crowe seems like a throwback to the movie stars of the past, like Kirk Douglas in Spartacus, athletic without looking like a bodybuilder.
Awesome insight.
And even though he definitely is a total prick, what isn't usually addressed is how his character is kind of understandable.
He brings up tons of really good points that could be videos in themselves, you know? This goes in the good pile. Definitely check this guy out. He's one of those YouTubers I kind of wish made longer videos. Before I get into my final thoughts, I do have to talk about the Gladiator sequel. You're probably thinking, I guess they could make it about the kid. He saw both of them die. He's probably emperor now. Following him around might be cool, I guess. Well, you're wrong. The sequel would have been much more insane. The movie would have started with the Roman gods reincarnating Maximus to help protect the persecuted Christians. But then he would be transported to other important periods in history, including World War II, the Vietnam War, and finally, he ends by being a general in the modern-day Pentagon? I'd pay to see that. Unfortunately, Hollywood wouldn't fund a project like that. They'd have to be crazy. I mean, they'd have to be out of their minds to fund Gladiator 2, right? Right? I love Gladiator. I watched it all throughout middle school and high school. The Gladiator Special Edition DVD is actually the first special edition DVD I ever bought. I mean, I already owned the VHS for Gladiator, and so I didn't really need to buy the DVD version, but I love Gladiator so much that I bought it anyways. To be clear, it wasn't my first DVD, it was my first special edition DVD. My first DVD was, of course, the classic gem, Blue Streak.
You're Mexican? That's right, on my mother's father's side.
I like everything about Gladiator. The plot is simple, but not too simple. It makes you care about the characters, and it does keep some stuff a little complex just to keep the tension going when necessary. Both protagonists and antagonists, Maximus and Commodus, they're both, I feel, they're fleshed out. They don't really feel one-dimensional. So even though, like, Maximus is the good guy, he does a lot of crazy things in the movie. And even though Commodus is clearly the bad guy, you do feel sorry for him when you find out his backstory a little bit. The costumes are awesome. The set pieces are great. They actually built a real Colosseum on an island somewhere. They did use a little bit of CGI, and it holds up today, I think, considering this was in 2000. They actually used real extras for a lot of it. Like in the Colosseum scene, it's like a lot of it is extras. Some of it is cardboard cutouts, some of it's CGI, but the majority is actually extras. When it comes to the fighters or when you have like shots in the streets, it's actually all extras. Even like the props, like you see the Colossus in one shot, you see just the foot of what the statue was. And that's why it's called the Colosseum, because there was actually a huge statue there. And it's like, man, like the props, like the budget just for the prop department must have been insane. Actual fighting, the fighting I think was done really well. They had tigers, actually used real tigers for the scenes. That must have been insane. And the cherry on top is the music. The music was just beautiful. Whatever you do, don't listen to my friends. I wasn't crying at the end of the film, all right? He finally gets to be with his family at the end, you know, and it's after all he's been through, and then that song comes up. The theater was really dry, kind of like the air in here, and I have to go. Have you subscribed yet? Make sure to push that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell. That way you're never in the dark when a new video comes out.